In this video, I'm going to teach you the laws of logarithms. So, laws of logarithms. We have three main laws of logarithm. The first one is the power law, which states that if we have a given logarithm log with a base a, x to some exponent r, then this logarithm is the same as the exponent times the logarithm with a base a of x. And we can think of it like as if the r was moved before the logarithm. But the power law basically says these two expressions are the same. So how do we use this law? For example, suppose we want to simplify an expression such as log 2 square root of 2 with a base 2. So how do we simplify log 2 square root of 2 with base 2? First, what we can do is to rewrite 2 square root of 2 as 2 times 2 raised to 1/2. And this means log base 2, 2 times 2 to the 1/2 is like 2 to the 1 times 2 to the 1/2. And by the properties of exponents, we can combine the two by writing the same base but adding the exponents. And this will be equal to log base 2, 2, 1 plus 1/2 is 3 over 2. As you can see, this is now an expression that follows the left side of the power law with the log base a x raised to r. Therefore, it will be, or it is allowed, to rewrite this into 3 over 2 with 3 over 2 moving here and then having the log base 2 of 2. Now, prior to this lesson, you might have encountered a rule that when a logarithm has a base a and the value here is also a, given that a is an acceptable value for the base, then this is equal to 1. Therefore, this 3 over 2 log base 2 of 2 is just 3 over 2 times 1, where 1 is log base 2 of 2, coming from this rule, because we have 2 and then this is also 2. Now, 3 over 2 times 1 is equal to 3 over 2. So this is an example on how to use the power law. But basically, the idea is you are allowed to rewrite this expression as r times log ax, which we could think simply as this exponent written before the logarithm. Next in the set of laws is the product law. In the product law, it says that if we have log base a and we have a product of xy, then this expression can be written also as log a of x plus log a of y. So we can split the logarithm with a product into two logarithms. Note that we use the same base for these two logarithms. Now the reverse is also correct, that if we started with log ax plus log ay or base ay, then this expression can be shortened into log base a times xy. For instance, so let's say an example. Suppose we have log base 3 of x plus 1 plus log base 3 of x minus 1. So as you can see, we have a sum of two logarithms, and then they have the same base. Now this logarithm by the product law can be shortened into log with a base 3, and then the x plus 1 is multiplied to x minus 1. See, the x plus 1 is multiplied into an x minus 1 by the product law. Okay, this can be useful eventually when we solve equations or when we simplify more complex logarithmic expressions. Lastly is what we call the quotient law. So if there is a product law, there is also a quotient law. For the quotient law, it says that if we have log base a and we have a quotient x over y, again for any acceptable value of a, these are positive numbers that are which is not equal to 0 and not equal to 1. The quotient law says that we can split the log base a xy into log base a x, but this time minus log base a of y. So as you can see, the main difference of the product law and the quotient law is that when we have a product of expression under a logarithm, if we split them, then we can have the sum of the two logarithms. For the quotient law, if we have a quotient of two expressions under a logarithm, then we can split that into a difference of two logarithms. So for instance, if we have, say, log base a of x minus 3 minus log base a of x plus 2, we can rewrite this expression into log base a x minus 3 over x plus 2. Or in reverse, if we have, say, another example, log base a, and I with, say, x plus y over x minus 2y, then this expression can be written as log base a. You can take x plus y and then minus log base a of x minus 2y. Okay, so we can split the logarithm, or we can rewrite the logarithm with the quotient x plus y and x minus 2y as log a x plus y minus log a base a x minus 2y. Okay, so in this video we'll limit it first on the basic understanding of the laws of logarithm. Eventually I will also create a video in which you will see these laws of logarithms be applied in solving equations or simplifying more complex expressions. Okay, so again, we have three basic laws of logarithm: the power law, and then we have the product law, and we also have the quotient law. Oh, by the way, some final notes, because there are some misconceptions about the quotient law. Take note that in the quotient law, it is the quotient of x over y. Okay, now you have to remember that log a of x over y is not the same as log base ax over log base a y. Okay, so as you can see, this is a quotient of two logarithms. Now this one is a logarithm of a quotient, and we apply the quotient on a logarithm of a quotient and not a quotient of two logarithms. So do not think of splitting or rewriting this into log ax minus log ay, because that is wrong. These two are not the same, but this one is the log base a xy. Okay, so that's it.